can't pinpoint.
Alright, we're live,
Good.
and it's time.
Can't talk anymore.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Okay.
That's my pen. That would've been fine. And since Andy's not here, did you guys want me to read?
Yes. Oh, yes. We'll be done at 6:15.
Sorry, you wanna switch?
Oh, you got the bad chair?
Did you bring your pillow or not?
Yes.
She's got it too.
Well, Bruce said he's gonna cut him, so.
Oh, good.
Tell me when you're ready, peeps.
Thank you. Go. Oh, that's me, okay.
Yeah.
Christine Belanger, 70437. Kristen Patch, 45491. Jeremy Potter is 35819. That's it.
For a total of 151747.
Here, let me pass those over. We'll just keep stacking. You guys want me to do the checks on these?
Sure, yeah. You were very good on that first one.
Get the three checks.
Oh, I have the
It
checks.
was a killer. Yeah, we're just gonna pass them down to you.
Those are done.
Oh, these are done.
They're all done. You just keep
Oh,
them
you
all in a
want me to
stack.
get
We're just gonna make
exercise.
it life
Okay.
easy.
They weren't clear on what I
You
was
guys
supposed
ready?
to do.
Yeah.
George Abel, $1,102.53. Ellen Arteria is $1,042.32. Andrea Victim is $575.71. Joseph Bird is $892.55. Gloria Bendia is $475.41. Adenara Chalanor, okay, $264.57. Karen Clement, need to sign it, $1,035.21. Katie Coppola is $57.71. Alyssa Sanuski is $312.48. And Michael Dane is $708.47. Jocelyn Dennehy is $23.44. Kikadanis Wallace, $108.97. Pamela Frederick is $157.46. Robert Gagnon is $476.53. Kenneth Gothier is $1,123.45. Andrew Gray is $559.11. Mary Lyons Hall is $180.08. Kip Kaiser, $756.19. Joyce Kegel is $560.80. Kevin Nealon is $681.73. Heather Lindsay is $591.14. Colin Marquis is $21.76. Francis McGinnis is $958.07. Rachel Mowbray is $83.11. Julissa Polanco is $664.43. Wayne Robinson is $793.75. Sean Seeley is $1,032.50. Katrina Tennant is $424.52. Daniel Wicks is $1,173.67. Janice Weirs is $724.99. Daphne Wass is $659.75.
For a total of $18,222.41.
And the total is $19,739.88. Just for the record, PD overtime is 22 hours, and for the fire department was 2.5. EMS calls that had missed 6 calls.
Look at that.
You guys ready? Tell me when.
Go.
ASAP Landscaping is $3,750. Andrea Bickham is $73.87. Blow Brothers is $112. Brigham Industries is $3,673.10. Citizens Bank is $176.80. Comcast $86.90. Crystal Rock is $53.38. Donovan Equipment is $2,876.15. Donahue Tucker Sidella PLLC is $65.18. Eversource is $206.23. Exeter Hospital is $278.20. Kenneth Gothier is $1,581.59. Glen Rewood is $2,078.250. Health Trust Inc. is $16,364.09. Health Trust Inc. $12.50. Lakes Region Fire Apparatus is $645. Mary Bartlett Library $17,358.75. James Michaud is $2,000 even. Heather Worski is $1,024. Plotsky and Sanderson Professional Association $3,250. Rockingham Planning Commission $16. SAU 16 for Bill is $200,000. Sprint $10.50. Ultra Automotive Repair is $135.72. Unifirst Corporation is $40.99. Valak is $196.45. Verizon Wireless is $94.02. WB Mason is $117.15. And for Jeff Ryan, that means a lot of donuts.
A grand total of $256,981.15. There's a lot of donuts.
You're in good shape tonight, John.
Excellent.
Pass it over.
You'll be in good hands.
Rec checks, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rec checks. Short and sweet.
Very nice.
You guys all set without the lights back there?
They're all asleep.
I kept one for Andy, but.
No, we're not.
Everyone else have one or not?
Yep, we got it.
Bill, you get one?
I don't have one,
Alright,
but they might have been stopped.
They're coming.
They may not have
Oh,
gotten
okay.
to me yet.
Sorry.
This is for me. Is that it?
Yeah.
These are for John.
Oh, don't drop that.
Almost dropped the whole pile, but they're in perfect alphabetical order, so you were glad as glad before they took all over the floor. There you go. I could see that you were just a little nervous there for a second.
John, we're in good shape.
Is that my report?
Your report.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're okay.
Appreciate you coming up.
I had a conversation with the town administrator about how much money we'll have as the months go along, and she assures me we'll get the bills out soon. Not soon, but on time,
Sarah's up there.
so,
Dash QBT dash. Good deal. Thank you.
good job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mr. Kip, you're next one up. Make a motion for the minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Did we have non-public last time?
No.
Mr. Kip?
Good evening. Good evening, sir. We'll start with 41 Forest Lane. David Hansberry, and this is for some electrical in his home edifice. Next, 27 Mill Pond Road, and this is James Bateman. And this is for a sunroom to be installed on an existing deck with some modifications. Next, we have 471 Middle Road, and this is Deb Cadero, and this is going to be for a roof. Did I stick two together, or am I done already?
Keep looking for you. I'm not seeing two in this. Is there two in that big packet?
What do you have? I don't think so. Ah, good.
While we're waiting, did I mishear last week that somebody was going out to look at that house on, the two houses on Lake Road that were gonna be connected to make sure that they were, that the doorway was supposed to be inward, not outward? Did I mishear that, or
Yeah, I think
did that
that's
occur?
misheard.
He said they are gonna be connected.
They needed to be the plan shows that they're connected with a breezeway between the two buildings,
And that's
door
code,
to door.
that's
That's,
not an
That
inward,
would be compliant.
inward opening door.
yep, in section 9, I can't remember the exact. Page 22 of that. Okay.
Okay,
And if you want, I can
I'm just.
copy that out
No,
for you.
No, I just, I didn't think I heard it, so just.
I haven't seen it done yet, so. breezeway I haven't seen done yet, so I drive
No.
by it
I
almost
thought
every day.
Skip said it was below and you couldn't see it from the road.
You can still
You
see when you
still
come up
You'll
from
see
the-
it.
It's not done yet, right?
Yeah, right, it's not built, that portion isn't built yet.
I think the concern is the siding already went on. So why would you do that if you haven't finished doing the framing?
Well, when we put our three-season room on, the siding was on, and it just abutted it.
Okay. I think it has to be physically attached according to the,
No, you're absolutely, it's a single dwelling.
No, my
Has to
concern
be
was that
connection.
it would be easy to sell those two properties as separate dwellings, which is the issue I
Yeah,
raised
it
before.
I don't think
They'd have
because
to
the
get an
lot plan is,
exception, right,
They'd have to subdivide it, is that what you're saying?
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they'd have to do something different because they're,
too
They're
close.
not supposed.
it's an accessory, it's an accessory unit only,
That's right.
Right.
so.
Today, that's right. That's
Bill,
why I
your,
said-
your worry is not
It's,
really,
it's okay, maybe we'll all be dead and they'll do it down the road.
well,
There's not two deeds, so there's no way they
Well,
can
I still
sell.
got a while to go, so don't kill me
I'm
out.
not trying to encourage anybody.
The Sampson property, did you see
Oh,
this notice that we got from the
Yep,
planning?
I did, yeah.
What's everyone's thoughts on this? Because it looks like they're waiting for, nothing's changed.
no. And that was a part of the discussion at the last planning board meeting. It appears that he has done absolutely nothing of the recommendations that were given to him, 2 years ago, in the dead of winter, as I recall.
Yeah, so it's been 2 years.
I think the
No,
last
we,
communication,
no, we did a
Last
walkthrough
communi-
this year, and I've only been here a year, so.
last communication was 7/3/18, if I,
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
right.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
it
went,
says the planning board hasn't done anything in 2 years. They stepped aside waiting for the Board of Selectmen to
Right.
formulate a process for Mr. Sampson to come to compliance with town land use requirements. Does not appear as that there have been any changes on the property in this period. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, he did get some relief because the state allowed him to have a junkyard. But there's a rotation process with the amount of vehicles he's allowed to have.
I thought he
I would-
moved some vehicles.
I
didn't
would-
he?
I
Go ahead,
have to differ.
Okay.
yeah,
So, he doesn't have a junkyard permit. He has what we would call a junkyard, and that doesn't comply with our zoning.
Right.
But because he is an automotive dealer,
Bikes can be, that's right.
no,
wheels.
he can house, store, sell whatever cars, and they don't have to be in running condition. The state allows for that. They also have an RSA under 236-126, I think it is, I have it written here, that only allows them to keep a vehicle on site for 160 days.
Right.
It's not enforceable by the town. It's a state RSA that can only be enforced by the Division of Motor Vehicles.
Well, I remember originally that the state did trump what we were attempting to do.
Oh, yes.
And if you notice, now he has a sign out in front of the building, mechanic on duty, to reinforce his repair license.
So, right, he's had a repair and inspection station as well, a different issue, nonetheless. So, in that letter, basically, the recommendations, was to make an appointment with the planning board to, talk about doing a site plan. And there was another communication. The other thing is that the planning board, every 2 years, the state comes and they re-up the license. And the planning board has the right to request the state or tell the state of anything that they find that they don't think is appropriate. Whether the state acts or not, I can't say. But I don't believe in the history that that has been done.
He's been bringing a site plan review for, I believe I heard the number of 9 years, and he's never showed up. So we gotta get some legs under our bodies and do something about it.
So how do we do that? Through the planning board or through us?
I don't have anything in the zoning that says that I can force
Right.
him to come in for a, because he's been operating since the 1940s or
right.
whenever.
So what I heard you say, and I don't wanna put words in your mouth, this becomes more of a state issue than even a local ordinance issue, and that the planning board needs to communicate with the state that they believe, if they so believe, that he may be in violation of state RSA's, and the state needs to come in and take action if that's the case.
I think that would be prudent to express the exact concerns. And again, even though it's a state RSA, that we can't enforce, they may step up.
Doesn't the state send a letter to the planning board to have them sign off when someone gets a?
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know what the planning board's done with that.
Yeah, every 2 years they get
Right.
relicensed. So, the last time.
Landlords pass it to us.
The last time a meeting was, wanted to be set up between Sampson, his lawyer, the planning board, and Board of Selectmen and Code Enforcement, the meeting was declined by the planning board.
Oh, I was not aware of that.
It was in this room, actually. I believe it was, a fear of, dividing, they were trying to divide and conquer us, I believe was the wording. So, I don't know, where you I don't know where you wanna go with this.
Well, it's been 9 years, so a few more months is not gonna hurt anything.
I think we need to send it back over to the planning board to let them know that, and based on your information, based on your investigation, they're in compliant for what we have right now.
They're a non-conforming lot, number one, because of vehicles into the setbacks.
Right. See, his operation preceded the zoning laws by about 25 years or so.
Right, so
Okay.
it's a,
So he's grandfathered basically.
A lot of it is grandfathered.
yeah,
It doesn't mean that the vehicles that are in the setbacks were there then, but,
Well, some of them have trees growing through them, remember?
sure.
There's at least
No.
4.
So we'd have to cut one down to see how.
Well, you have to cut the trees down to move the vehicles, yes.
And, I do have in my records numerous correspondences, and I do have pictures of vehicles, and I do have a list of vehicles. It's not a lot of VIN numbers, it's basically, Chevy Silverado,
Right, right.
1973. There's some information in there to give some teeth, but again, I would work through, I don't know what the intent is.
Can you touch base with Andrea this week and just see what
So,
they want?
before we go with that, can I ask, has a complaint been filed about him by somebody else besides the planning board or the select board?
Someone brought a complaint to the select board
Okay.
Years ago.
for my first time out,
That
way
was-
back when that happened.
and
Okay,
the only other complaint I've had is emails from an individual talking about the property, and
wanting somebody to
Myself.
take action on that.
so.
Right.
I
The
think
only,
the
the
word
only
that-
person that's stepped up in that at this point is the chairman of the planning board, I believe.
Mhm. Well, we're gonna have to get our creative minds together, have a meeting and with the planning board, code enforcement, the town planner.
Yeah.
So the request in the letter is to get him to come in for a site plan.
Right,
So what
he's
you have
been
to do
doing
is,
that for 9 years.
what you have to do is figure out in your zoning, is there a path to force that?
Well,
And
I
then you-
believe that part is there. I believe we have the authority to do that.
And then at that point,
But do you
What's
where
that
it's,
based on
where
what,
it's,
and what's the,
Yeah,
what's the outcome that you're looking
I
for?
think because he's been there so long,
He's
What are we
grandfathered.
hoping to accomplish
I-
by
yeah, I
making
think-
him come in and go through those steps?
Cleaning up
that
the
he's-
property.
And
I think you're gonna
I think-
find,
I think you're looking at, a whole lot of effort to maybe not get any kind of result if he's not in violation of any local ordinances.
Or
And he's in
state.
compliance with RSA's from the state side. The only path that I see is for us to contact the state, whoever does, and ask them to investigate any possible violations of the RSA from the state side. I don't think we have a whole lot of legs to go
And I think he's probably grandfathered on a lot of it, because he's been
Right.
there for so long
That
before
would
we
be
even
my
had any
guess as well.
ordinances, so.
That would certainly be an argument he was presenting,
Okay.
so.
So if you could touch base with Andrea, just to kind of
I certainly will.
at least find out what their thoughts are and
And
let
also
them know our
Glenn.
thoughts to contact, yeah, and Glenn, tell them that,
Because, you know, he may have a path.
because he's here tomorrow, right, on Wednesdays?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, are you around tomorrow?
I may be for a few hours.
I only need 10 minutes. Just run in there and say, hey, here, I even wrote on the back for you, as we were talking, so, you're
Just,
good.
yeah, just give us to her.
Yeah, just walk up and say Bob says. All right, anything else?
Yes,
Oh, the,
the Lewis Auto
Lights.
lights.
So,
which-
when,
So there's two lights at the corner of South Road and then just a tenth of a mile further up on his side of the road with, that shine.
Right before the
On
junction.
to-
I think
One shines
I
north.
think I figured out where
And
they
one's-
are.
Yeah,
They're on utility poles, correct?
I believe so. But he's
So-
got another light further down, and I don't know if it's his,
or if it's the next property.
his next property, with also has cars for sale, that's facing the right way into the property, not impeding traffic flow north or south.
It's
So,
awful.
But I'm gonna tell you, that South Road's gonna cause an accident sooner rather than
So I
later.
guess what I've, because I've been looking at his lights and his signage, and it appears that it's on the utility poles that belong, whoever you,
I don't believe
Eversource
those
or-
are, I don't believe those are Eversource lights, because if you look at the Eversource lights.
well, they can't
it's-
be his. You know, he could rent like we do,
Oh, I see, okay.
you know, so Eversource is gonna have to get contacted on that.
Yeah, it's bad, cause I,
So-
Sooner rather than later,
Yeah,
because
right.
I'm serious, there's gonna be an accident there that's gonna be caused by those lights, and then we're gonna have hell to pay. Because we know about it, and it's been talked about now for a while, so.
So,
If those
um,
lights cause somebody to be blinded and there's an accident,
That was
there's a
another
huge
construction
liability there.
division at Eversource.
Yeah, that would be the best thing.
And it doesn't, the Eversource light that's just recently gone up
On
on
South Road.
South Road is a totally different, it's a totally different color. It's like orangey yellow, as opposed to those lights in front of his property, which are bright white. And the
Yeah, I
same,
mean-
and the one that's facing into the reason I believe that, I believe that it was his, I thought it was his, is because the next property down has the same kind of light setup, but it's flashing into the property itself.
Yeah, I just went through this with Eversource in regards to signs on poles.
Okay.
And I said, take your signs off the poles, they're your poles, they're your signs. And they had a different idea, so we're gonna need to talk about that as well. So
So
the same
I
thing,
think you can tell them that if those lights don't
so
get
the
moved.
same thing on the lights, if you get a chance to go out to,
check them out.
they can,
Ellen?
they can use me as a contact.
I'm sure the police department's been up and down that road and can see the issue that I'm talking about.
On South Road?
Well, it's the corner of South Road and 125, there's a Lewis Auto dealership, and he's got two lights, one on the corner and one maybe a tenth of a mile still on his property. But the lights shine on 125, one shines north and one shines south. And the north one's bad, but not nearly like the one shining south. It almost blinds you as you come up 125. And the similar situation going south on 125, but he's gotta move those lights, cause they're facing the wrong way. They're not on his property and they're not really lighting up the street, which, you know, if
Whose
they're
property are
Eversource.
they on?
They're in the easement, they're on utility poles, they either belong to Eversource or Unitil, whoever owns up that far,
I don't know, but they're not doing what I think they're designed to do, which is to light the highway. They're more of an impediment than anything else.
Well, my question is, can the police come up north and see it and then put it in their log so they know?
Well,
I
it's
mean,
not gonna solve
Yeah,
anything
I
if
mean, we
you
can certainly make a log entry on that. I mean, if Eversource or the utility company owns the poles, I mean, they're,
Yeah, but
That's
if you
where you
come
gotta
up
go
north,
to.
if you could come up north on 125, it's terribly dangerous. I mean, as a citizen, I'd make a complaint to the police department if that's what it takes, because it's not nice. I came up that road the other night and
you're blinded for a second.
it
coming up that
blinds
road.
you, it's not safe.
I mean, we can look at it, but
Yeah.
we'd have to make a request to the owner of the utility pole, which would.
Right, right, but I
That's,
just,
Karen's gonna contact the construction department of Eversource at least.
Yep.
We may find out it is an Eversource, but if you do view it and it is an obstruction, it would help back us up.
Thank you.
Actually, I was gonna drive down in the daytime and park and look at the
Throw a-
pole and see
throw a
what it
stone.
Get the
Oh,
poll
if
number?
you're gonna do that, can you get the whole number while you're out there?
Oh, that's
Text
tomorrow.
it to
I
me.
can probably do that
I'll get
tomorrow.
it for you tomorrow. I'll bring
You've
it.
been getting it for 2 weeks.
I know, but I've been working, so I'm not working tomorrow,
And
so I'll
do
make a
you,
point of coming over.
do you know the address for the South Road light about?
It's right
That's
be-
that
it's-
new
it's-
one that they got the big pile of sand and it's,
It's
No,
right
that's
before
right
the.
across
other place.
Mitchell's,
Yeah, it's right across from Mitchell's parking lot.
right across from the parking lot of
So
Mitchell's.
is that an issue? That
No,
light?
that,
I just feel bad for the.
I feel bad for the people that live on the corner of Crowley Falls.
Cause it lights up their whole backyard now.
Yeah.
Well, that's what them to them, no?
Yeah, that's not,
Yeah,
that's not us.
yeah,
it's not
I
us.
just,
Don't go for that one.
yeah.
The only thing I would be curious is it their light? It's on their pole.
I don't.
Is it your light?
Should be their light, if it's on their pole.
You might wanna look at that if you didn't put it in.
And then-
Okay.
So, good deal. Anything else, sir?
So, oh, go
You
ahead.
good with this before you let Kip leave?
Yeah, what we're gonna do is, you guys are fine with letting Karen on that Mary,
There was a memo in the mail.
Right, we would have that, yeah.
to wait for her to
Not
see if we
letting
can
her find it.
retroact it. She's gonna check to see if we.
Yeah, one
legally
more
can do
week's
that,
not gonna hurt us.
And we'll just address it next week.
Yeah, I think we're okay because the notice of violation, the first letter and then the second one have gone out, so we should be fine, but, double check.
Besides, you've had conversations with him going back several months.
well, yeah.
Yep.
But
But
The whole point
documentation is
about the-
important. There you go.
The fines
About
is the lack of activity.
the fines is different. So the only other, I'll raise it as a question and possibly the chief. First of all, did we ever, ask for or vote any money for a needs assessment?
I think you was earmarked up to 10,000.
So we already have done that?
Yep, so we have a
Okay.
proposal that we opened up yesterday at the exploration building committee for police department, and I think it was what, 8,000?
8,900 and,
Some odd dollars?
I am looking at it right now. The most favorable proposal?
Most favorable proposal as it was
Favorable
written.
proposal was for, it is 8,000 and change.
I think it's just below 9.
8973.
And so I think we knew we had an impact fee, as we had a certain amount of money that we could use towards that.
Do you want to vote to expend the 8973, just to firm that up?
Yeah,
What is this for?
this is for the, to get a needs assessment plan done.
Oh,
And we put it out for RFP for them to basically give us proposals. Where one came in, it was like 18,000 some odd dollars. And then this one came in and I knew we had, I thought it was around 9,000, so,
So do you need a proposal?
so we need a motion to basically authorize the chief to go ahead and do that.
Well, I'll make that motion for 8973.
Do I have a second? And this is for them to do the needs assessment to see what we actually need for our police department in our town. They'll actually do a projection out for us.
And is this in conjunction with or an addendum to what the schools were doing to provide us, or the schools providing us some kind of a needs assessment
This
as
is
well?
different from that one that's going off where Granite Creek was. It's
Okay.
not related. This is just for
They're
the
not
PD
related.
building itself. So what will we need to have in there to be compliant? Juvenile holding cell, separate from the adult holding cell, different processing areas, locker
Interview
rooms,
rooms,
bathrooms. Kinda like what we did for the fire department.
And the school thing is totally different, the school.
That,
That's for the building itself or the property or whatever?
yeah, that's
No,
through
the
the
school that
planning
you're putting
board.
up,
No, the school's providing a
A
they're
resource
paying the
officer.
whole freight for
PD for,
one officer.
Yeah, it's a
and-
resource.
no, I'm not
No,
talking
we're
about
not
the
talking
school,
about that.
talking
We're
about
talking about the new
the
police
school that was involved in the
It's Keene
exploitation.
State
Yeah,
and
Oh,
Norwich
okay.
Oh,
University.
yeah.
so they were,
So
what
that-
were they providing?
Keene State has completed their projects, they've given us a couple of site plans and building plans as well. out of it for the time being, but Norwich is continuing on. So Norwich is going to, as of, I just sent out the minutes from last night's meeting, but they are on track with the site plan and design. They've done test pits behind the fire department, and they're now drafting and working on building designs.
But I'm curious how they can provide that kind of information if they don't know what needs we have in the police department to start with.
They would
In the
work
big-
together, so like this needs assessment,
Yeah,
we would have this done. How long does that usually take?
Okay, so, number one, yeah, this is a project that they're doing, and we've given them some parameters from the
the
beginning.
school we're talking
The school,
about, okay,
for the capstone project. yeah.
okay.
Correct.
But
You get
now what
confused
we're
with the
talking
school.
about now, when we get down to spending money for something, it's an actual assessment of what the police department needs to go forward in terms of a new building.
Correct.
By professional architects.
Right.
And then we could actually try to marry the couple together. You know, you kind of say,
So instead of
is
spending
this
money
gonna comply with this?
Okay.
on an exploratory thing that you're paying,
Right,
we're getting some benefit, and they're getting some benefit, and we're promoting this along to match up with the true needs.
So I'll second Bill's
okay.
motion.
How you doing,
My
Bill?
name is Ken.
Sorry.
Never, ever get us confused again.
Old people.
Oh, I'm
These
sorry.
are done.
Sorry.
Okay,
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
alright,
Anybody
That's
opposed?
all
Good.
right.
Okay, so you're good with that once you review the proposal and you check out the references?
Yep.
And then we can get that needs assessment. And I think Eric said they probably would be able to get that back to us for December, which then in turn we can turn it over to Norwich,
Well, we're going to request that it be done.
done by December.
Right, I've got to contact the most favorable proposal tomorrow.
It was a wording we learned yesterday, so you have to say.
But I think, I mean, Kip and I probably need to get together sometime next week, towards the end of the week, to, you know,
Yeah.
discuss maybe the references and,
Yeah, just to qualify it and to set up our final parameters for when we want to do.
So,
and part, I'm looking at the proposals right now, and part of that, to answer your question, Bill, is that they will look at the existing PD as well, and see
where we're deficient or where we can change or whatever.
if that's even viable. So I mean, I think the goal is that we're gonna explore all avenues, and they should be able to produce that at the end, in one final report.
okay.
That's the hope anyway.
The other thing, just for the board, they're gonna have an open house on the 26th, is that right?
October 26th,
That's the drug
drug take-back day.
take-back day too, so it actually kind of works, because they'll be doing drug take-back. And then they're also gonna do boo bags.
Yes, we're having a canine demonstration.
Yeah.
We haven't solidified the trunk or treat, but we're definitely gonna be giving out goodie bags for Halloween. We'll have some things that will be raffling off. We have some bike helmets that we've been holding on to for a while, and we'll be giving some tours of the PD.
So it'll be good, because then people can actually see
What we
what
are
we are
dealing
working with,
now.
kind of like what we do in the fire department. We had to walk through
Yeah,
and see,
yeah.
give me a tour of this place and explain what you were working with.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
Good.
We also talked about, and Kip was gonna take a look at it, for the changes that we talked about with the bathroom and the shower and the lab, I believe.
Actually, I believe we settled on
Doing a
an
locker
open
room.
space for lockers or conference and for file storage.
Yeah, so we wouldn't need to add a bathroom, because we gotta do the server room down there anyway.
Yep.
Which we have to do something for the server, because it needs to be ventilated, right? And then, so then it would be a storage room, and moving the conference room, and then the current conference room, we can actually change that to be the locker room. So
Or
therefore,
vice versa.
or vice versa. But you wouldn't have to put in the bathroom, so it would actually be just putting up walls and cutting through that concrete wall, so you can utilize that space.
This is for the female changing room, is that what we're talking
Yep.
about?
Female locker rooms.
We don't need a bathroom for,
No, because they don't have one in the men's, doesn't have, it's just a changing area. So it's kind of like you changing your bedroom. You have access to a bathroom, but you change your, it's just a closet. Well, it's more than a closet, it's a locker room.
and what do we do for bathrooms? Just lock the door?
Date.
You know, I know this is funny, but it's really not, because if I'm the officers down there, and I'm one of the women down there, I wanna know that I can go to the bathroom without, I mean, I'm sure it's
I'm sure
all
there's a lock
good
on it.
for everybody, but, no, but, so I just.
I don't know, they got one down here that's women's only, and I go in it all the time.
So,
So, Bill,
I don't
right,
think
Ladies sign
Bill,
up.
currently,
You did pull it up?
there are 2 accessible bathrooms
Okay,
in the PD.
yeah, so it's fine,
They're gonna end up getting shared.
yeah, okay.
But, yeah, so she pulled off the women's
Most
only.
of the time,
down there,
people are
so-
on the road patrolling anyway, so they don't really need a bathroom.
Am I good?
You are good, sir, thank
I'm
you very
just
much.
kidding.
I would love to have an additional bathroom, I just don't know if you wanna keep pumping in money into.
Not into a thing we're not gonna keep, no.
What's that?
Not if we're not gonna keep it, no, okay.
Well, down the road, he said it would be easy enough, because the plumbing's actually run through that area.
Down there
It's just
anyway,
whether or not
so-
you wanna put $20,000 into that.
Yeah, but if we're gonna keep the current setup, that's one avenue to explore, but if we're not, there's no sense in throwing good money after bad.
Well,
money.
that's, when we
Yeah,
talked to
that's
the
what
chief
we-
yesterday, it was one of the things that we talked about was, is this really you know, if you're gonna save $20,000, do you really wanna put 20,000 into that, or would you rather use the $20,000
To some other.
towards something else?
Yeah,
You know, we're still gonna probably, one of the things we talked about was coming forth with a warrant article for $75,000 to put into a capital reserve for building
A
on the
new
police department.
facility.
Whether it's new or whatever the
existing.
needs
Right, right,
assessment
right,
comes
yeah,
back, but
yeah.
we're gonna need something,
oh, yeah,
cause we gotta do something to comply, so, it's just a matter of looking at that needs assessment. It's just being proactive, so if we put the $75,000, that warrant article will be coming forth. And that was, last year, it was shot down, but I think we're gonna come back again this year, because you can only kick the can so long before eventually you have to do something.
yeah.
And we know we have to do something to expand for female locker room, changing area. And they're running out of storage space down there, so we need to create a storage room for files, because they're legally required to keep them.
Yeah.
And they have to be under that police department purview where nobody has access to them, so they have to be secured. Kind of like the evidence room and stuff like that has to be certain things.
Okay,
Cool,
thank you.
all right.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna call the chief up since you're here. Come on up.
Okay, what I have is a request to increase the special detail rate. Presently, our rate is, a special detail rate of pay is $44 an hour. This rate has been set at this amount for approximately a year and a half. After compiling some detail rates from surrounding agencies, I'm requesting an increase to $47 an hour to obtain more parity. $47 per hour will go to the officer, $12 cruiser fee will be maintained, and an increase of 86 cents an hour in the administrative fee to offset the difference. It's for a total overall detail fee of $59.86 if I did my math right.
And just looking, I'm gonna pass this around in a second, but Exeter's at 50, Effing's at 47, Greenland's at 50, Danville's 44. Rockingham, is that the sheriff?
Yes,
They're at 43, Kingston's at 45, Auburn's at 55, Kensington's at 50, Plastow's at 65. Newton's at 40, Hampton's at 40, Chester's at 45, Fremont is at 42, Newington's at 50, and Candia's at 65. The average is 49.
What's your sense of whether we would price ourselves,
not at
Yeah,
all.
I know,
Okay.
my question
so we'd
is-
be fine?
I believe we'd be fine. I mean, the average, based on those towns that were included in this is, I mean, the average fee is 49. I'm
But if
requesting
I'm sitting there
47.
saying I need a detail, I'm gonna go to, was it Fremont was 43 or,
Fremont was 42,
So
Hampton's
that-
at
what- So
40.
what I'm saying is if I can go to Fremont and get somebody for 42 rather than coming here and get somebody for 47,
Well,
Do you have to
why?
come to the town
yeah,
that it's in?
it like, for example, the dragway, you
Yeah.
know, is gonna come through us
That's
and,
good. Up
and
in
Epping,
Epping.
right? So as it stands right now, I mean,
So it would really have an impact on our details anyway.
no.
It's an in and out anyway,
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's just
I
what
know
they
it's
can
not
bill
anything we
for.
have to pay for, so why not give the.
and we're increasing the car price too?
I'm keeping that at $12.
Well, why, maybe I'm being stupid, but if you're asking for $44 an hour and then it comes up to $59.86,
That's because of the car,
Why not just
Yeah.
make it 60?
gas and
That,
everything.
the
What would-
officer gets
Yeah,
47.
but why not make
Oh.
why not make the administrative fee, add some of that, make the total 60 instead of 59.86?
I'm all right with that.
I mean, that gives you
So
a
instead
little more
of doing
money
the
as
86,
well, right?
so
I'm
instead of doing the
absolutely okay with
86
that.
cents for the administrative, you wanna go to $1.
Yeah, that makes it an even $60, right?
It was 86 cents just an hour for the administration fee to
Well, that
offset the
seems like a,
difference.
So $60 overall.
yes.
So we take the
So
minus the
47
12.
for
So
for
your
the
billing
officers.
is $60
Yep.
is
Yeah.
your bill rate.
I'm good with that.
Okay,
But that's not including the administrative fee. That's only 47 plus 12 is 59. And then 86 an
And
hour.
then the 86 cents an hour.
86 is the administrative fee increase to offset the,
But what is the administrative fee today? Because you have to add 86 cents to the administrative
I
fee.
knew you were gonna ask me
today.
that. Let me get my
oh,
phone
wait a
here.
minute,
Oh,
I
okay.
actually have it, Christine sent me the
Okay,
numbers.
all right.
1609. So 1609 plus 86 cents. So that'd be 1695.
So we have,
So make it 17.
Well, is that gonna balance off the pricing now?
that's what I'm trying to
so
do.
$3.59 out of the present administrative fee goes into the revolving detail account. Are you
So-
doing the math?
So the total detail fee,
76 an hour?
She came up with, to offset the difference is 86 cents, that's where we got that number from.
well, I'm just confused, what are we billing
Yeah,
at?
okay.
Cause if you got
So you're billing-
$47,
You're
right?
billing $47 an hour for the detail officer,
12 for the cruiser,
12 for the cruiser, and then
that's 59,
1695
16.
for the admin fee, so round it to 7, so it'd be $76 an hour.
Where's the 59 coming?
And these guys are at,
The 59 was 47 plus 12.
so,
Those numbers, I
Oh,
think
yeah,
are
you
just,
know what, that's right, that figure was wrong, because I didn't put the
This
initial.
one doesn't have the administrative fee, it only had
Right.
the increase in the administrative fee, not the original
so
administrative.
is this fee for Exeter, the $50, including their administrative fees?
No.
No, that's to
just
the
the
officer.
hourly
This
wage
is
for the
comparing
officer.
that to the 44.
Okay,
So either
so,
way, we're
so
still.
Plastow's billing at 65, wow. Kensington's at 50? Newington's at 50?
So those are just the rates for the guys, that
Those
doesn't
are
include
just
the
the rates for
administrative fee or
those.
cruiser fees for
Yes.
other towns, right?
Yeah, and each town does it differently, some, I mean, I don't know what their figures are as far as their administrative fee or the cruiser fee.
So can we go back to give me the right, not the $59 number, but the number that it is?
76.
76, even. So
$76.
76 even with the 86 cent increase?
Well, then I just rounded it up and
No,
Yeah, I was just trying to get an
it'd be
even number, so,
75.95.
so,
So I
So you
rounded
wanna
so
make-
76.
so put an extra 5 cents in
Yeah,
there,
so let's do that.
so it'd be
So
91
what's the overall
cents,
fee?
91
As opposed
cents
to
an hour
86
instead of
cents.
86 cents, it's gonna be
So 76
76 even. is
minus the
total.
47
So this is gonna be
minus the 12,
91
and then
cents.
the difference is the
Yes,
administration.
it'd be 72.
Correct.
for the
So it's
administrative
just, I just wanna make it even.
So instead of the 86 cents, you're gonna go to 91.
Yeah,
So do we have a motion to go with that total detail fee of $76?
$6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Anybody opposed? Good
that
deal.
was easy
All
enough.
right, that was easy. That's all I
We try
got.
to make it
What do
easy
you got?
sometimes.
Appreciate
you.
it. Have a good week. Enjoy your time off. You're off, so enjoy it.
For 5 days, yes.
Enjoy your
Nice.
5 days off.
I like Dave.
And let's bring up the library.
Oh,
I don't see
fee.
Rebecca's
I just
not
have
here.
Robinson, but I don't know if she's leaving out of here for.
Robin, are you here for the historical or no? Oh, she stepped out.
Oh.
Okay, well, I guess we're gonna stay with.
she's.
We're gonna go to the library. How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Thanks.
Like those chairs?
Doesn't roll very well.
We were,
No, they're awful.
and just,
We did find out, we do have somebody that's gonna come and,
level the table,
they're
so
gonna,
they don't look like.
they're gonna
third
cut
graders.
off like an inch or two and drop it down, so we don't look like we're in elementary school sitting at this big of
Well,
a
I'm used to
table.
sitting at story time tables that are down.
Okay.
So this makes me feel like a grown-up.
Yeah.
Karen need a booster seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually Karen can't touch the floor on some of these, but I think you got my short chair, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Though I
she's
may
in
not
my
look
chair.
like I'm way ahead of them, I'm only holding on the table with my elbow, so I look taller.
Okay, so you guys wanna talk to us about IT support, since last year, I guess it was included, this year it's not, and it's $1,000 a month, so that would be
Yes.
$12,000-ish, $1,000-ish a month. To me, that's $12,000 a year. These are public computers. The reason we pay for a lot of the IT stuff right now is, for like the police department and the fire, is because of some of the technology and stuff that they tap into. And confidentiality of accessing certain things and having different firewalls and stuff like that. A lot of your computers are public stuff, right?
Oh, half and half, there's,
Well, not even half,
No.
2 of them are public and the rest are, 5 are, for the staff.
Is there 3 when you come in the door then?
There's 3 spaces, but there's 2.
there used to be
computers
3.
Oh, okay.
One died,
there. And then we have 1 for circulation, we have 1 for interlibrary loan, 1 for cataloging, my computer, and then the assistant director's computer.
And what's the cost per computer?
For,
If I went to buy one of those computers that you guys use?
they were donated.
So when they donated, how much do you guys take for a donation that you had to give them a credit for? I know that there's something for tax.
It was not just the hardware. It was
Software and everything else.
software, it was support, it was setting everything up,
So they
Networking
donated that
it
whole
all.
thing.
yes.
Do you know how much that was for that total thing?
About $25,000.
And how many computers did you get total?
6, I think. Was it 6 or was it 5? 5, sorry, I think it was 5. 1, 2.
And that included the
It
support
was
and
5,
everything else
yeah,
for the
it was
month?
5.
That included the support for the year?
Yes.
My recollection is that it was $8,000 for the servicing of those computers. And the overall number was $23,000.
Do you have a server?
No,
Oh, so then it may just be, I think it's $38 a workstation is what Block is gonna charge us.
A month?
Yeah, so 38 times 5.
And we would only probably put it on,
For the 5?
no,
no, you wouldn't,
not the 2, we would put on
you
the,
just put it on 3,
yeah, not the 2 public
not the 2
ones.
public ones.
But they have 7
Is it-
I thought you said.
We did.
Yes, 7 dollars.
7 computers?
Yes, so
Yeah.
2 would be public and the rest would be library use.
So would we need to include the 2 public ones?
So that's $190 a month,
So maybe that's not so bad.
That's easy.
90 times.
No firewall, nothing like that?
There is a
Just the
firewall.
computers?
There's a firewall because there's 2 sides, there's a public side and a
Oh, the
private side of things, yeah.
So that's basically $22.80 a year.
So they'd need 5 computers, the firewall, antivirus. I think Janice has a meeting with Mike tomorrow, so she can get firm numbers, but
Yeah, let's get some firm numbers so we know what we have. And then, I don't know, what's the thoughts of the board as
I'm
far
going
as
the
the
same
library?
I'm going the same direction that the chair's going in terms of, let's see if we can get this for a little bit, a lot less money. If we're gonna add it to our system, right? That seems to be a more reasonable approach, and we can separate the public and the private.
In the 7 computers, is that stuff that's used by the staff, or is that stuff that's used by the library trustees, and who else? Who uses those computers?
So 2 of them are the public computers,
Yeah?
5 of them are staff. Trustees can use them. Jim and I work on them together.
Any of them go home with the trustees?
I'm confused.
Any laptops or anything like that?
We went from 5 computers to 7 computers.
There are 2 public computers,
Got
5
it.
staff computers.
There are 5 staff computers. Interlibrary,
Are they-
Circulation,
director,
director,
assistant director, circulation, and what was the other one?
cataloging.
Catalog. Okay.
And 5 of the 7 were donated.
So, do we need to buy 5 new computers? Is that
This year?
No,
not
No,
this year,
no,
right? They're
no,
still
donated
no.
last
Okay.
year, so.
So we just need to provide support
It's just
services.
Support,
support.
Support.
Okay, so it seems to me that would be reasonable to get support with the group we already have
and see if they can
and see if they can
give us a
incorporate.
proposal for that.
Yeah,
My thought was, is
That would
I just
be
wanted
less
to make
than
sure if there's anything that's being
$12,000.
used exclusively by the Library of Trustees, that's different than
the 2 public.
computers, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out how
Yeah,
that all works, because I
But the
know
pu- we-
it's kind of a
you don't-
shared,
You don't wanna tie the
symbiotic
2 public
relationship we got
computers
going on
into a
over there.
system that everybody else uses, so
Right.
you wanna have that separate
Yep.
in some way, so, yeah, that makes sense to me.
and the public ones, I
Who
mean,
cares, they're going on the internet and doing Wikipedia and hopefully nothing they're not supposed to.
and if I have to replace one of those laptops or computers,
For a couple
I'm
hundred
going to
bucks,
get a,
For $400 or $500, I get you a new one.
right,
And I'll
versus,
make money when I get it for you, so, yeah. let me know.
So you're meeting with the IT guy tomorrow?
Yes.
So if you give us the number, we can vote on it next week.
But you want the number, so am I understanding correctly that it's not to include the public?
That's
Not to
correct,
include
just
the
the
public.
5 that the staff uses.
So there would be no antivirus or anything on the public computers?
But you,
So-
you, earlier you said that they're separated.
They are separated, but they still need, so do you have deep freeze on them? Do you have the software that once someone
There
backs
is-
out of it, it clears the history?
The support that we've been getting, they've been clearing the history daily,
Okay.
because the problem is being public.
Okay,
I
well,
want to have that.
in tomorrow's discussion with the IT
Ask
guy,
ask him about it.
find that out. And if we have to add the other 2, then if it becomes a liability for the other 5, I think then we have to cover the 7. Right? You
Yeah, but
agree?
let's find that
Yes.
out.
but I would think those 2 probably have no access to
Systems that you use.
the other 5.
Well,
that's what
that's,
They don't, but they have their own issues
Yeah.
as public access computers
well, if
that
she's meeting
need-
with the experts tomorrow.
that need updating.
So I'll ask tomorrow.
Yeah, that might be, you put Norton on there, Norton virus protection on there, and I pay for that, and that's $79 a year. And then I can get a license that actually, I only buy one system, and then they license it to the other computer.
Yeah, I'll ask what he's got that would, because we do have to, you basically have to, not scrub the computer, but you have to ensure that people's private information isn't left on a computer.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that they can go in there and they can actually, so basically, all right, I'm gonna give you an hour, I want you to program both these computers, when we power them down at the end of the night,
It erases.
it basically, it reverts back to where it was. So there's a program out there that reverts your computer back to where it was the moment that you fired it up. So as long as it reverts every day, if I power it back on every morning, it's reverting back to where it was the morning before.
Right.
I just power it down. I mean, I'm assuming you guys power these things down instead of letting the fans just keep running, right?
No, they actually have us keeping them on because they monitor from afar.
Okay, because they're logging into it. Yeah, so they're basically going into it, but I would ask them if they're, a lot of times, most computers and stuff, you can revert them back once you reboot them.
Right.
And it basically reverts back to,
Yeah, we have one that
Dummy
does,
stations.
we have an old one that does that.
Yeah. and that's all it's doing, it's basically reverting back. So I can download and put a bunch of crap on there, but it doesn't matter, because tomorrow, guess what? It's gone.
Right.
It doesn't know the difference, it just, when it powers back up, it's going back to 7 o'clock in the morning when I fired it up. Then whatever happens all day long, reverts back the next day, and anything you have, you lose. You snooze, you lose, it's gone. So if you didn't save it, it's history, and even if you did save it, it's reverted back, it's gone.
Right.
Benefits of having a wife that used to work at a computer company.
So we'll hear from you and we'll talk about it again next week.
Yes.
Good deal, and then, yeah, when you are talking to them, just ask them about licensing, and some of the programs that you have. Because that's a lot of times they like to sell you, and I know when we got our original proposal, that was one of the things that they tried proposing to us is buying a program, and it was like, well, how much is it to license it? Because if I got 15 computers here, why am I gonna pay $300 for each program? I only wanna pay for a license, so maybe it's $10. I'll pay $300 for one program, and we'll put $10 on every computer.
Right.
So you guys got 7 computers, I wanna buy the one program, and I wanna pay for the license so I have to buy the program again.
So licensing versus.
Licensing versus buying it, because
Buying each program.
the library owns those 7 computers, so why would you buy 7 programs? With 7 boxes and 7 everything else, they basically just take it and they throw it into a new computer, and they put the license number in there. And it works just like when you open the box and it gives you a number, it just gives you a license number,
Right, yeah.
so, cool.
And then public versus.
Yeah, cause I wanna just make sure that those computers aren't communicating with anything inside your firewall where they can tap into your stuff.
Right. It's supposed to be set up so that can't happen.
Yeah, so, with our and we just changed over to a new computer company, right?
We will in January.
In January, we're changing over to a new company, so,
Yeah, that's the person that's coming to talk to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so we're hoping we
Yeah.
can
It's the
tie it
new
all
person.
together.
Yeah.
Exactly what we need.
Hey, does Spike still come around?
Haven't seen Spike for years.
I haven't seen him either. I met him on the road one time.
and he didn't show up for voting last
He
night.
voted, didn't he vote last night?
No, he didn't show up, he wasn't there at the time. I always remember him with his little book.
It's working.
Eric was there, and Jim weren't there.
Yeah.
I missed Jim and Jim, and I missed Spike.
All right.
Did you see Spike yesterday?
I did. Looks pretty good.
He's doing
He's
good?
up at Walmart.
Oh, okay. All right, as long as everyone's still out there, we're
Yeah,
good,
he's there.
so.
Thank you very much.
Anything else that you heard?
The roof.
The roof, that, I thought that's
Oh,
really what
that's
we were,
right.
The roof.
the favorite things.
The
we
roof.
Did you guys get the proposal? What do we got going on with that?
So the discussion Karen and I had was that, you guys wanted us to use the capital improvement fund that the library has, and then the remaining money would be found.
And
To
how
get
much do you
that
have in that?
It's about 5.
Just under 5,000.
Just under 5?
I think that's fair.
And it was 9,800?
I need,
Do you think you can find the rest?
Yep.
So do we have a motion for them to go ahead and do that?
I'll make the motion.
And we have a second?
Second?
All in
Ken?
favor?
Aye.
Phyllis seconds Ken's motion, AKA Bill.
What are we talking
Me too.
about? How much
They're
money?
doing
are
the
we
It was
talking
$9,800, they have just under $5,000,
about? 5,000 we need?
so roughly around.
We have that somewhere, just kind of laying around? Or we just
I
need
have
She's
it
gonna have to
in,
be
find it
creative.
somewhere?
I have it in the insurance budget, so we budgeted property liability insurance, and
It's gonna
then
be
over
less,
the
I
course
know.
of the year, it's a little bit less, we've received a holiday credit, so I can use that
Some of
funds to
that, okay.
offset this.
Yeah, as long as we don't have to, we're
We
getting.
replaced the other half last year, and they thought
Just-
this would last a couple years. and
I'll
it's
go
not,
for
so.
this, I'm just gonna remind everybody that we're getting close to budget season, and we're getting close to when the assessments are gonna, we don't know what that is yet, we don't know what the rate is yet, or anything like that, we need to keep in mind, in the back of our minds at least, that we wanna keep those.
And I'm hoping they don't do happen in Epping, I don't wanna see a $31 an hour, or $31 per
I
thousand.
will tell you what happened to me last night later, but not pertinent to this particular issue, but we need to keep in the back of our minds, we need to watch that bottom line for everybody.
Yep, I know.
Okay.
Good deal, so you're good,
Thanks again.
Thank you.
and do you know when they're gonna start the roof?
Before
You
kids
give
go.
me okay? When can they get that done?
they can start pretty quick,
Alright,
yeah, as long as we're ready to go.
alright,
Pay for it.
yeah.
As long as we pay for it, they
Well,
can
you
start
pay for
it.
it, you're good,
Yeah,
so.
that's usually how it works.
Yeah, and they'll work into the cold, they're not.
Oh, they will?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's
I
gonna
was
be
thinking
cold
they
before
probably-
we blink,
It's gonna be
right?
cold
Yeah,
soon.
exactly.
It's gonna be cold Thursday, so you
Yeah.
gotta get them out there
Yeah.
tomorrow, I guess.
But I did
But
talk
then
to
it's
them
gonna
about
warm
it.
up again.
Yeah, that's right. I was worried about winter, you know, that snowy stuff that we get that done before then, so.
Yeah, well, that's the point, is we really.
Yeah, I
need to
know,
get it done
that's
before then,
right,
because-
yeah, we don't want the wintry snowy stuff coming inside.
No,
Too steep a roof to.
Okay, yeah.
Timing wise, to pay the bills from the capital reserve funds, we have to pay the bills, and then the trustees of the trust funds reimburse us back from the capital reserve fund. So if the library can cut the check to make the deposit, trustees of the trust funds are meeting on Friday, so they'd be able to turn back that reimbursement to you pretty quickly. If that
makes sense
works
to you.
out for you timing wise.
We're just closing the account, that's all, right?
Yeah, so you guys write that check, and then they'll, out of the library account, and then the capital reserve fund will close it and send it back.
All we do is make a simple request,
Yeah.
and they'll make a check payable to the town of Brentwood.
Yeah, but they don't meet very often, so if they don't, so they'll meet on Friday, and then they might not meet again for a few months,
So this needs to get done like tomorrow.
Do these
if you can.
Yes.
Well, that would just benefit you guys.
dispersing money,
Yeah.
Julie doesn't have the authority to do that on her
No,
own?
they have to do it at a public meeting, which they don't meet often.
And they have a meeting on Friday?
They have a meeting on Friday, yeah, so they're gonna be reimbursing the town back quite a bit of money, but, well, it'll help John out.
Yeah.
Right, so we need to,
Get in touch with Julie.
Let her
Make sure
know
it's
that that has to be done on Friday,
If
Yeah.
that works for you guys.
because you guys can't wait until December, then release the money.
No, not unless we get the money from someplace else and then pay
Yeah,
it back.
exactly. I can't be Santa Claus, sorry.
No, but the trustees would have to be.
Yeah, yes, yeah, definitely.
In our maintenance of the building, we have to do that according to the RSA.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you.
We're on
Thank
track,
you.
there you go.
Robin, are you gonna be, Rebecca was supposed to be here for the historical, are you here for her or no?
No, I'm not. I have other business tonight. Sorry.
Okay,
I don't know. You know, on that last point about the trustees of the trust funds, they will meet. All you need to do is notify them of the meeting, and they will meet when it's needed. And also, being married to the trustee of the trust fund, he wants you to include him on all communications, not CC, but to be included on the communications to he and Julie.
Okay, they've never asked for that, so.
Okay.
cool.
All right.
Okay, well,
Ward, what do you got?
Oh, I have more things.
What are we doing?
Are you doing
Yeah,
documents or?
You
Oh,
need the notes or
What are you doing? I got,
we'll do the documents, but I just see everyone's here, so.
oh,
It's
oh,
dark, so that's why I'm
it's
kinda
dark,
like,
I
I'll reach
can't
out.
see, I can't see a damn thing.
I keep wondering why it's so dark.
Eeny, meeny,
I
who
just
wants
have
to
a
go?
question on,
Sure.
last week's selectmen's meeting. The Conservation Commission is deferred to not have the town pursue the South Road property, am I correct?
They did, but then they wanted to
Pursue it.
pursue it, so we basically made a motion to kick it back to them to allow it to be pursued,
I'm
So-
confused.
Just to research
So-
options.
to
what-
research options.
What, the state asked, gave us the right of first refusal to buy it for $535,000, I think.
Correct.
And we didn't think the town had an appetite for that, and we declined that first refusal. The Conservation Commission said that they would like to pursue that option as well, or still, and they think they have avenues to perhaps get the money to pursue purchasing that property. So what we said last week was that was fine, but we're gonna let them go ahead and pursue it. So we've withdrawn our refusal to the state and let the Conservation Commission go forward to try and see if they can purchase the property. That's basically.
Without town funds.
Correct.
Yeah, they have to do their research to figure out how that,
Grant
they
money,
get grant money, what's
donations,
out there,
whatever they have up there.
explore, so we didn't shut the door, we basically said, go forth and talk to whoever you gotta talk to, we're not gonna shut the door with the state, letting them know, we're still interested, but we have to do our due diligence in trying to find out how we can afford this, how can it be paid for?
Right. Okay, so it sounds like there's a private entity that's interested in this property, and the Conservation Commission's gonna try and facilitate that, am I correct?
I would hope so.
Okay, so, which leads me to my next concern, is that the last Conservation Commission, or it was the one before, they agreed or voted on to spend $10,000 to have the property appraised, an appraisal on the property. And my
I don't
concern is,
remember that.
if the town's not gonna own this land,
Why are we paying $10,000?
why are we paying $10,000 to have?
I didn't,
I don't remember that at the last meeting.
I don't
Roy.
remember.
It might have been the meeting before, but it was, there were two options. There was a cheaper option to
Really?
have the
I'll have to go back.
property appraised, and then there was a higher one. They voted for the higher one. And my concern is that we're gonna spend $10,000 and there's no, it's going to a private entity, it's not town conservation land. So,
Yeah, we shouldn't be, they already had an appraisal done, huh?
Yeah, I
The
believe
state
that the
did the
state
appraisal
appraised
on
it at 535,000.
you were here at that meeting, Bob, and it was the one you filmed, I think, you were here, you filmed that one?
I don't
It was 2
remember-
meetings ago.
I don't remember them approving $10,000 for that.
I think it was
I don't either.
10,200.
Yeah, it was
Really?
10,000 and change, and I
Wow.
would just ask that it gets looked into, that we don't put our tax dollars into private land.
When's the next conservation meeting?
Wednesday.
Not until, what's the date, the ninth,
Today.
the ninth?
Next Wednesday.
Can you, well, I don't have, Jeff's not there anymore. So is Rob doing it?
I think Rob's doing it, but I haven't been officially told that.
Can you reach out to Rob?
I can go home and read my minutes too.
Yeah, just reach out to Rob and maybe ask them to hold off until this thing is straightened out. Cause they originally said they weren't gonna be doing it.
It was some kind of a special assessment for a farmer-specific appraisal of, so that it allowed only a first-generation farmer.
Oh,
To purchase this.
I don't
It
remember
was
that.
quite convoluted, but it
I
caused,
remember some conversation about maybe using
Yeah,
the
'cause you were
property
here at that
as
meeting
it
too.
originally was used, as, I think they were raising pheasants there and whatever, and they said that they would propose using that property as a chicken farm, and they had people that
Or a
thought would
pheasant
be
farm or
interested in
something like
whatever,
that.
but
Right.
I don't remember,
I don't remember them approving
and I don't know
funds.
that I was at the meeting, but I know I remember the Conservation Commission members being here and saying to us, you know, but I don't recall, and it just maybe I don't remember, them ever saying they wanted to spend $10,000 to do an appraisal, especially since we've already got an appraisal.
And they-
I mean,
It was approved by the Conservation
Yeah.
Commission.
But
They took a motion,
I
they
have
made a
no
motion
idea
and
why
passed.
we would approve spending $10,000 to appraise a property that the state's already told us they're valuing it at $535,000, and if we wanna buy it, that's what we have to pay to get it. So I can't imagine that we would then say, let's do a private appraisal and see if it's worth, what? It's already $535,000, you wanna buy it, that's what it's worth, there
Well,
it is.
the part of it was though, is turning into the farm that what they were doing is Robin,
Yeah,
conveyed that.
but the problem is, if we do a private appraisal and they come back and say, well, it's only worth $385,000, the state's not gonna sell it to us for less than $535. It may be worth more than that, but it's
I
certainly not worth
understand that.
less. It's not gonna be worth less to us to buy it.
Yeah, so I wouldn't,
So I wouldn't go
I
forward
wouldn't
with
support them
a-
paying
I wouldn't
$10,000
do-
for it.
We need to
Spend
see
a dime
if
to
the money has
appraise
been
that.
expended yet.
I just think it's
I don't
worth
think it
looking
has,
into.
because John pays those bills.
You're right, it is worth looking into, but
It has or has not?
I don't think it has, because Jonathan pays those directly, but I'll look into it and see.
Thank you.
And we would have seen a check that we would have approved for.
yeah.
No, because it doesn't go through the regular
Oh,
manifest.
it doesn't?
No, because that money would be paid out of the conservation
Fund.
Oh, they
concentration
have that.
fund, and Jonathan,
But then they would be asking for us to replenish that,
correct, in their next year's budget.
which would be a problem. Because I would be
Again,
like,
I wouldn't spend a dime to appraise that property, we've already done it.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
so we'll look into
Yeah,
that.
thanks.
So that goes
What do you got, Robin?
right into my next point. Robin Wrighton, 102 Middle Road.
You're kinda late with that, Robin,
Copy for who wants to read it first.
the chair.
There you go, sir. Just like to, make this, give you my intention of, asking to join the Conservation Commission as the alternate member.
Oh, since they just, and I don't even know what's going on, we don't even know who the chair is yet.
Yeah, I know. So I'm coming to you first. I'll be attending my 4th meeting, next week Wednesday, and presenting the same letter
I
to
think
them.
you would be an ideal candidate myself.
I think so too.
So that's her letter of interest, I
Can I
guess.
just back up for a minute, did Wood introduce himself so that he's on camera?
I did say his name, but I don't.
Sorry, I know,
Woodburn, 55 Row Road.
Well,
I'm sorry, I know who it is.
in fact, Ward, we wanna
I keep
thank you
looking
for
out there,
bringing
it's
that
dark,
to
I
our
wonder why
attention.
you guys are all in the dark.
Yes,
out there.
thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah,
I didn't remember them
I
doing
don't,
that.
I don't have it.
This is the
You
first
were
I heard
the
of it.
4 people that watched the whole video last week.
How many?
I was,
watched it.
no, I was here for that
Oh,
meeting,
yeah.
and I watched, yes, the meeting last week, and the dynamics of this have changed. And,
Yeah.
you know, and I remembered that we were gonna spend $10,000, and if it's gonna go to a private property, I don't think as a town, we wanna spend $10,000 for
Yeah.
somebody else to buy it.
Well, and I remember right after that meeting is when we were told, they asked if we would support buying it for the 535 as a warrant article, and we made a motion, no, we would not. And then that's when Jeff had actually sent an email to the state. The state said they need to hear from the select board.
Which I did.
So then Karen reiterated, the select board doesn't support that, just like conservation doesn't. And then Jeff had resigned, and then it was requested that they would like to explore it again. And so they would like us to give them the ability to explore, so
Do
we
we have
did.
to accept his resignation? Isn't the letter in,
You can accept his resignation if it's his,
you don't have to? I mean, you
Okay,
sent it,
I'll acknowledge the fact that Jeff Donald
it was in our
tendered his
emails.
resignation to us, I think that was last week.
No, it was just this week, I
This
think.
week.
It was
Just this
emailed
week.
to us last week.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was emailed last week.
Was it last week?
So,
In fact, I think he resigned as of Friday.
As of that day.
yeah, the day he sent it is the day he resigned, so.
I have
So
a
right now we have a
question.
conservation commission
If
chair.
if we have an opening on the conservation commission now, clearly we do, if we have the chairs left, and there's clearly an opening for somebody to move up, or
They have-
somebody to be.
They typically have 5 alternates, so they're gonna have to
So
figure
we're
out
gonna
which.
We're gonna only have 4 now,
Right.
so what would prevent us from right now?
No, I
waiting?
think you should wait till the.
She's already been to several meetings, we
I
didn't
know that,
wait,
but I think you
wait a
should
minute,
let
wait. We
Conservation.
didn't wait last time to appoint
Yeah, we
somebody
did.
as an
Yes, we
alternate.
did.
No, we did not.
We did,
That was one of the,
we gave them, we had a request for him to join it.
Yeah.
He sent us a notice that he wanted to be part of it.
okay,
We sent it over to Jeff. There was a couple meetings that transpired. I think he
Yeah.
went to one of them,
He
because he
only
wasn't
had
aware
one.
of another one.
yeah, you
Well,
know
the other
what,
meeting didn't happen, he only
Okay.
had one.
One
hearing.
meeting was canceled.
right,
And so then it was requested again. We asked what's going on, we haven't heard anything.
right,
They wanted to wait, and we were like, there's an opening. So if you don't tell us why you don't want to appoint them, we feel we have somebody that's willing and able to be on the board. There is a viable open, it's been open for a while, I mean, that was a couple of years.
yeah.
So then we signed into it, so,
So the reason I'm asking is for the same reason. If we have somebody who wants to be on it, has been to several meetings, and we know she's interested in being on it, why would we wait? And there may be a valid reason, I'm just asking the
I think
question.
you should wait till.
I think we should wait till they have the
Okay.
meeting and they have a
And see if
chair,
they'll,
and
yeah,
then see what the new
See if-
chair wants to,
How they want to pursue that.
we'll let them know that there's
Yeah,
somebody
it's-
that's of interest.
Right.
Somebody's interested,
right.
okay.
And then wait for a response from them, and then if we don't hear anything as a response, then we can make similar motion we did last time of, we've given you the opportunity, you haven't told us why not, so therefore we're gonna make a motion to appoint.
Well, and I would think they would have to, out of all the alternates, pick one to be a regular member too.
Yeah, they're gonna have to
At the
pick
next-
one at the next meeting to fill the void. They're
Right,
still gonna have to nominate a chair,
right,
Yeah, there's a lot of business they have to do. Okay, I'm fine with it, I just wanted to ask
yeah,
the question.
I
so.
think.
cause now he's not gonna be there, so they have to appoint
And
somebody
you're
to
the
that.
rep, right? You're the
Yeah,
rep
she's
on
the
that.
Yeah,
So we'll follow what you want, that's fine.
And she has voting rights,
So
Yeah.
Joyce, you do what you wanna do.
unlike you on the school board, sorry.
Correct, and do not.
21 years you've known me, and you don't know my name.
She was equating you with me.
21
She
years
wants
I
you
was-
to
And
change
that's what
your
I
ways.
object to.
She wants you to change your ways.
That's the 5-year contract for George Sansucci that you guys discussed last week.
That's what this is.
Do I have a motion to
Utility
sign?
balance.
Yes, you do.
Second,
Joyce?
Second,
all in favor?
I'm sorry, who made the motion? Did you?
Ken,
the
Bill,
second is yeah.
Joyce is in there somewhere, along with Phyllis.
MS1.
oh, God.
MS1,
It's already been submitted to DRA, but I need your signature so I can upload it into the portal.
did we already vote on this?
Yeah.
You
I think
voted
we
on
did,
the
didn't we?
extension, but you didn't vote on the paperwork.
Do we have a motion for, do
Motion.
we have a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Andy's not here, but we can all sign it.
Last week you signed the intent to cut for Pilgrim United Church. Charlie Moreno would like to request permission through the highway shed to gain access to the conservation land on the Pilgrim Church. Wayne said he doesn't have a problem with it as long as Charlie coordinates with him ahead of time.
We've allowed them to do that before.
And I think they donated a lot.
No,
of
that was a misconception. That's
Oh.
our land.
I thought they donated that land to us.
We
No.
all thought that, but it's our land. But that's okay, we can certainly let them access it.
As long as Wayne is,
That's fine.
Policy's okay with
Yeah,
it?
as long as Wayne is okay
We
with
don't
it.
need a motion for that, I don't think. Consensus, that works.
Last week, there was a memo in the mail in reference to a class action lawsuit with 5 defendants suing about misled physicians and the public about the need for addictiveness of prescription opioids, all in an effort to increase sales. Do you want to withdraw? They sent it to every single town and city in the United States. Do you want to withdraw and exclude the town from this suit?
I think so.
What's it,
We would retain our rights.
You would retain your rights to create, to file a
Separate-
separate motion
action,
later
yeah.
if you wanted to later.
Why would we?
I don't know why you wanna participate, cause then you're just gonna be on the hook for those legal fees.
Yeah, no.
so,
But you have to physically opt out, otherwise they'll keep you in.
so we have a
And send
motion
you
to
a bill.
opt out,
Yes, you do.
do we have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you need me to sign this or anything?
No, I just have to send a letter and then I'll have you sign the letter once it's done drafted. So Mill Road Dam, you also have a letter from Charlie Krautman. They'll be beginning to remove the gate, next week on the 7th. The work will take over 4 days. They've already arranged details with the police department, for road traffic, cause they're gonna be closing a portion of the road. And then in the spring, the state is gonna file a motion for permanent removal of the dam.
but I would like to see the letter, the email put on the town website though, so that people know that we're not trying to
didn't do
hide
it.
anything from them.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it, the state did that.
It's
That's
a state
action.
action.
State
It's a
action.
state action, but I just
Yeah,
think,
but no, it's a good idea.
it should be on there.
Okay.
There was somebody holding protest signs in front of the
Paul's done that one,
nursing
right?
home the other
Next
day.
week.
Really?
So I'm gonna make a
Budget
sign
goals.
for you and you could go on Mill Road.
Is there a bottom line goal that the Board of
About
Selectmen
removal
is
of the
aiming
gate.
for?
Don't bother me.
Budget goals.
I think there is.
What's- I
I
didn't-
think we've already communicated with, or jointly with the budget committee that we would like to see the department heads, and last week again, to come in flat or lower, or, try and keep your expenses under control. I don't know if we want us to put a percentage on it or something like that, I'm not sure.
Budget committee put in for 0.
Right, so I'm looking to see what the Board of Selectmen are going to approve. I mean, if,
It's not realistic to have zero.
Here's what I think, and I think we need to consider this
5
going
minutes?
forward, in less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
I think we all have the same goal of having qualified and dependable employees, and I think we need to recognize and compense them in some forward going forward. It doesn't mean we have to give everybody raises across the board on a regular basis, but certainly we need to be competitive. And I think we've seen some problems there. However, having said that, and I think that's something we should pursue, we cannot sustain increasing tax rates in this town the way we have in years past. If we're on track right now to double the tax rate in 8 years from now, we're gonna price many people out of the market. And so we have to keep that in mind. And to that end, what happened to me last night, I went to the SAU administrative budget approval last night. There were 2 people there, and the elected boards, and they approved it was finally 9.99%, but they were proposing almost a 12% increase in their just for the administrative people, okay? And the reason they did that was because they made mistakes in the past and they thought they could catch it up this year. And I told them publicly last night, just like I'm staying here now, we cannot sustain that kind of increase across the board on a regular
That's
basis.
a $60 million budget,
Yeah.
12%.
No, this is just the business office
administration.
money,
Okay.
2.5 million, that's enough.
It's another
But- and
2.5
what happens
million?
with that budget is it doesn't show up again.
No, explain that. Bob is misled. He
The-
thinks it's a 2.5% increase.
No, it's a 9.9%.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's a 2.5.
So it's a 10% increase on
2.5.
top of the 2.5 million?
2.5 million is what they're proposing, not proposing, it's approved. That's the money that they use for administrative expenses, business office,
What was their budget?
superintendents.
So the 2.5 is the
It's
new
a
budget.
9%, it's almost a 10% increase.
So that's the new budget that they're
Correct.
approving.
And and you will never see that budget again because it gets buried in the $60 million budget, it's in there. And unless you go through that $60 million budget, line by line by line, you'll never see that. And it never gets approved anyways. What I told them, and is what I'm staying now, we cannot sustain that kind of growth over the next 8 years. There's no way, we can't do that. We have a responsibility to the town not to do that.
Bill, I understand that point.
Yeah.
But with all due respect, you have 15 full-time employees that work extremely hard for this
Absolutely.
town. And to punish them because the co-op or
Oh, no,
Swee's-
no, I'm not trying to put them together. I just wanted to say what I said to them last night, to us, to all of us and to the public. We cannot maintain the kind of tax growth, tax increases that we've done over the last. If we're gonna double our tax rate between now and 8 years from now, double it, we can't do that.
Right, but we've also
But I also,
shown,
remember what I said at the beginning, we have good employees, wanna keep those
Yes.
employees, wanna keep them
Right.
happy, and we need to recognize them and we need to pay them. We need to be
Yes.
competitive with the
And
people
I think what you
around us.
need to do is, and I'm fine with looking at the budget goal, the bottom line is, and I said this to the chief of the fire department too. Look through your budget and find what you can't
Okay.
live with,
And
and so, just like me, if my boiler died today, and I have to come up with $3,000,
You're gonna,
I have
you're
to-
gonna eat it
I
somewhere
have to
else.
suck it up somewhere
Right,
else. So if we're gonna give somebody a 6% raise, well, then I need to give up something over here. I need to feel the pain over here in
Right.
order to support why I'm paying for that over here.
Correct.
It
And-
balances it, and I think that's what the budget committee was looking for, overall zero.
but see,
I'm
like,
thinking one and a half.
1.5 to 2%, 1 to 2%, somewhere in that range is something I think we, and
No,
and I
remember-
base it on what we're looking at for cost living.
That's right, the
adjustments
US
that come up.
Commerce Department.
We
I
have to
think
look
it's
at that.
1.8,
We have to
yeah,
look at that.
1.67.
So I think we need to be cognizant of that fact as well.
Mhm.
I don't think we can just say, look, we wanna keep you happy, we wanna keep you here, but we're not gonna compensate you.
Well, we know like on the police department, we put a lot in for uniforms and a lot for training,
so you can take some
maybe we
money,
can take some off of that because we already increased some of the pay
Correct,
and offset it.
correct. Somewhere along the line, we have to find a way to
but like
pay
this year,
people.
we have what, 4 elections, so how can you come in,
we have 5,
is it 5?
yeah.
I thought it was
You
4.
got primaries, you have,
It's the primary, the presidential, oh, maybe it is 4, and then
There's
town
4,
election and
there's 4,
Yeah.
town
If
meeting.
you count the town meeting, there's 4.
Yeah,
yeah, there's 4.
and actually you have the school, do we have?
That-
So-
well, that's not part of our
That's-
budget.
that's
It's not part of our budget?
No, no,
so are
They
we
pay
saying
for-
Yeah.
1
Oh, yeah,
to
that's all part of
2%
their budget.
Oh, I didn't
increase
know, okay.
Yeah.
overall? Is that what we're saying, 1 to 2% increase overall?
Well, I'm just, like, I guess my point of this is, you're gonna see the full picture on October 17th.
Yeah.
And whatever that bottom number is, if it's 1%, 2%, whatever. Some budgets, like the IT budget's gonna go up 50%, and then it'll get offset because it'll be reduced, some in PD and some in fire, because
Mhm.
those monies are being moved over. But if you're gonna be sticking with 0%, 0%, 0%, there's no point for any of us to even bother with any of our budgets unless they're gonna be, you
No, what I
know what
wanna
I
do.
mean, if one of
I
them's gonna
want-
be 50% up and one of them's gonna be,
I would
they have to
rather
look at the
pay the
balance.
people that we have working for us money and eat that expense somewhere else in our
Right.
overall operating budget. I'd rather.
I think the
concentrate on
selectmen
giving
can take a reduction.
well, and I think that's all the employees
I
wanna
voted
hear.
no
The
for how
employees
many
wanna know
years?
that they're supported and that they're gonna be
I voted
compensated
the
fairly
last time
for
we
what
got a
they're
raise, I said
doing.
no.
I'm individually wealthy.
Cause
I-
that's where the stress when
I'm on
budget
Social
season
Security.
comes.
I will support, I will
Every
support
time.
that, as I said
And the
before,
government
I would
thanks
much
you.
rather pay the employees we have
It won't
working
be there
for
for
us
me when I
and
get
eat that expense somewhere else in our overall operating budget. So
Okay.
that would be my,
does Robin have something to say?
Yeah, Robin has something to say.
Just say
Robin
thank
Knight,
you.
102 Middle Road.
That's right, you got it.
okay,
So that's where I think that worksheet will come in handy when.
Total
each-
compensation.
When
Yeah.
each employee looks at what they're being paid, it's not just money in the paycheck, it's your
Benefits,
Wednesday mornings off, it's your,
Correct.
you know.
It's not Wednesday
nobody-
mornings off. I'm still
nobody-
working from home.
I know, but nobody works
It's
Friday.
not like I'm just,
Whoa, did you get targeted?
Oh,
No,
Sorry, but you put yourself out there.
Sorry, man, I work from home all the time, so.
And I think your salary, right?
Me?
I am salaried.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
Yes.
usually salary positions take that all into account and you just put that extra in. But obviously, times are changing and there's all kinds
Well,
of great benefits.
She's here and now, it's already almost 7:30.
Yep, I
By the
know,
time
but
she gets home, it's
you don't work
8:30.
it all on Fridays, right?
Well, that's true.
Well, I work
She
from
works-
home on Fridays, I'm checking emails, I'm still available.
I know, and I know that because you do answer me on Saturdays and Sundays too,
There
so
you
I know
go,
you're
so
there.
she's a
I'm
full
not
service.
bashing
That's
you.
called a victim of circumstance
But
when you
what
answer.
I'm saying is that you need to take a look at that worksheet and realize how much the benefits are costing, you know, the town, how much you are actually being compensated,
And-
not just money.
And I understand that, but when you look at the positions that are in comparable towns,
But we're not Rye, and we're not.
you're not right,
some
but
of these
we're
other
also,
towns.
I mean, when you compare
not
it to
Hampton.
Fremont, Sandown, Danville, you know, towns with similar populations that are similar structure, and you look at what their staff, what they have for staff and what we have for staff, we have a far smaller staff than what a lot of those other towns have, and we're getting paid less money to do more. And when you say total compensation package, I understand that fact very well. I understand that the total dollar package looks like a lot. But those other towns also offer the same health benefits, New Hampshire retirement, short-term disability, life. Their benefits are all the same, and when our wages
I don't know
off
if
par.
that's true, Karen, because look at, there was an instance of an employee who left town employment recently
Mhm.
because he got a bigger raise and then found out that that raise didn't actually cover the benefits that he was enjoying here in Brentwood.
That's
So,
true.
but that's private versus public sector. That's not, he didn't move from another public sector position to another public sector position. He moved to a private sector
But he
position where it's
wasn't
entirely
aware
different.
of the benefits that he was being, not, he didn't see the money in his pocket, but he also didn't appreciate the benefit that was given.
And that's where I think that form that we were given by that committee will help, because it's gonna spell it out for you.
Yeah.
I know my employer sends me my total compensation.
Yeah.
Here's your benefit of your job, this is what you cost us just to be an employee here, and we appreciate you being an employee, but this is what it
Do
costs.
they really
you.
say that to you?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They give me an attaboy every now and then. Next week, they're
But
gonna
why
take
don't
me
you
to
get
dinner
most of
one
all
day.
out?
So here's the thing though.
I give you
I
that,
think we need to
attagirls.
consider-
We give you a high chair.
I think we need to consider the whole package as we've talked about, and we need to make the employees cognizant of that fact.
Yep.
But again, when I know what I got, you know, health plan, life insurance, whatever, all those things that are added up. But at the end of the day, I cash my check and go, okay, here's how much money I have to spend today, or here's how much money I have to spend this week.
Mhm.
And as I said earlier, I would rather have us spend more money on keeping the salaries of our employees
Yep, retention.
retained.
Yep.
And less money on other things that we fund. And so if it's incumbent upon us to keep the people we have and we're happy with them, and I think we are, then we need to find that money somewhere else.
Well, a
Or-
perfect example would be, I know like last year, we wanted that sign that does the miles per hour, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Right,
It cost us several $1,000s,
and it's,
and it didn't work.
it's not working,
right.
that's correct.
And hopefully she returned it, I don't know, I keep
She's
Yeah,
forgetting
she
to
did,
ask.
she did.
She did?
She's gonna
Okay.
return it, she hasn't done it yet.
Oh, she hasn't done it yet?
Not yet.
Oh,
So
No,
those
so
are the
that's what I'm
things that we
saying.
look
If we-
at,
if we have to
like wants
increase-
She's
versus
got a very
needs.
good employee working on that, Christine.
Yeah, but if we have to increase,
I
I'd
thought I
rather
told you
increase the
earlier.
wage.
Well, whatever.
I'll meet you outside.
What's your name and address?
Ken, did you need that?
So, on the.
I know it's not a Frank.
I absolutely agree, I think we should retain great employees, but you should look at it from the residents' point of view,
Oh,
when we
yeah.
see the budget at
Mhm.
town meeting. And I can't tell you how many times I've been here on a Friday, and there's no planning board representation, there's no select board representation. I'm not bashing you, I'm not, I love you, okay? But there's nobody here.
Gloria's here. The town clerk's office is here. Gloria's here until like 2 o'clock every Friday. Our posted hours are 9 to 12, but she's here until 2 or 3 o'clock every Friday.
Okay, well, we had somebody here last week when I was helping Kim with the gardening. There were 2 people that came in for planning board, nobody here, nobody to contact. No, Gloria wasn't here at that time.
You could've called me.
Yeah, well.
I think he was looking for a plot plan though. He came in this morning.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plenty of
But
plots.
that's
Yeah, so
that's just a perception that, okay,
Yeah.
we wanna retain good employees, but look at what the town people see.
Yeah.
An empty office and
We have
pay
to be,
raises
we
going.
have to be cognizant cognizant of those issues as well.
Just like we did, we had to do that with the highway department, with the dump and
Well,
everything else, have that open.
Even with
We
the
had to
select
change
board,
that.
you know, when I first proposed that we have somebody here every other week, there were many weeks when nobody came in, but it's okay, you're still here, there are other
Mhm.
things they can do. We've now cut it back to once a month, and even if nobody comes in, I still think that it's a useful thing to have advertised to the town, that somebody is here for you to come and talk to, if you're not comfortable in this setting, or if you're not comfortable contacting somebody on the phone or sending an email, there's somebody here you can come in and talk to. And it doesn't have to be come in and talk to them and tell them how horrible everything is. You can also come in and tell our selectmen how you think we're doing and whether we can improve things somewhere and, you know, be constructive about those kinds of things. I think that's important to be accessible to the town, so.
That's value
Well-
for money.
yeah.
Well, our emails
what I
are on,
Online,
yeah, so-
I get emails all the time.
do you? Well, I think
I
maybe
just-
Share that with
something
the rest
should,
of the board.
I think somebody, it should be
It's
on.
like, is this
Yeah,
road,
that's in the
is this
selectmen's
road gonna
handbook.
be open or not? No, that
Yeah,
road's not gonna be
you
open
share
yet,
that.
this is why, we're still waiting for the bridge to
Well,
get
I think
approved by
along
the
with
state.
being,
That's
once-
out 50 more days.
I think
see the
being
letter?
along with once a month, maybe we need to put a blurb and say, if you need to email one of the selectmen, their emails are here, if you don't wanna talk
I
to them.
think they're available. aren't they?
They're all online.
But
The
I
other
don't know
thing
if
too is,
people are
like,
People can
aware.
email me at any trouble.
And we
but
update,
me,
like,
My wife, and my private email out there as well, thank you very much.
So, like, the one thing, like Karen just mentioned about, you know, Russell Road West, it's out another 50 days.
Yeah,
Up to
we-
50
we-
days.
we-
So it's
Yeah.
never gonna happen this year, we're never gonna make the cutoff for paving, cause they're shutting down that plant on November 1st.
Yeah, and it could be 50,000 or it could be 400,000. And the state really has our
dictating
faith
it.
in their hands,
Right.
Yeah.
based on their rules.
So, unfortunately, that road is probably gonna be closed, we probably should have something up on the website.
Do it after, well, and the other thing too with the railroad
Cause I got a
West,
lot of email requests for those.
I got the contract back from Mitchie Corp, and they wanted 20% deposit, and then in the contract it said, up to 30% restocking fee, if they authorize a return. So I called Steve Cummings to have him negotiate that part back out of the contract, because there's no point to put a deposit down
If
Yeah.
they're gonna
Right,
take,
pay
yeah,
if they're gonna have to pay the restock it.
right.
I think it's time we went into non-public.
Well, anything else from public? Is there
Um,
anything else Karen has?
Oh,
Karen,
I have one thing.
Not for public session, no.
Okay, so we got non-public, we're going to, yes,
Was the date October 7th, Karen, for the dam?
Yes, if they're gonna start the work.
Starts.
Thanks.
And it's supposed to go for 4 days.
Oh my
We'll
God,
see.
okay.
is that gonna
They're having a
affect
crane
you
and
on your road?
everything, so probably it will affect our
I
lot.
think they will close.
I can come in the other way through United Machine, you can come in that way, or down River Road even,
Okay,
cause he's got a roadway there.
Just gonna be a
Or
pain
you could
for
be
us.
unique and stay home.
I could
Oh.
stay home and go out and watch them. There was some people out there fishing off the dam today, they
Really?
were having a hell of a time. Oh, I got a pig rolling through. Oh, I caught a bass.
Last chance.
Yeah,
I
they-
said
anything
last-
else?
Is
they
their
better
last
hurry
chance
up,
to go
they only got a
fishing?
couple more days.
I just wanna close it out by saying that I don't come here to bash you, I admire you for doing what you do, because you
It's
take a
called
lot
victim
of
of
hits from a lot of
circumstance.
people.
it's
And I
victim of
thank you
circumstance.
for stepping up and doing what you do.
Although we like it, this is that part.
Sometimes I like to get out with the Ben down there at the end, but
I beg your pardon. Ken, not Ben.
I
Ben?
do appreciate what you do.
I had like an old business.
With that, the
Oh,
dam
Karen,
lady's
did
going
you
on.
check
Oh.
with NHMA about Bill being on the school board?
Yes, if Bill is not an ex officio member, all you can do is write a letter and
Ask
request.
them to vote me on as a non-voting member of the board.
Thank you for
But
coming.
you also,
Karen.
well, they can't make you a non-voting member of the board because the way that they're,
Set up, it's an election.
Structure.
it's an
It's
elected
elected,
position and the way that it's structured,
But they can
structured is set
certainly
by
give me the
RSA.
opportunity to talk to them about the concerns that I have, which they don't do. And
Well, listen-
I've asked them to at least change how they do public, like we do at the end, do it at the end instead of at the beginning, because there are issues that come up in the course of the meeting that I may wanna say a comment on or whatever.
Yep.
And if you don't let me speak at the end of your meeting, then
You got a
I
month.
gotta wait another month.
No, you have the right to email.
Oh.
Yeah,
You know
cause
what?
they're very responsive,
So
they
wait a
hate my
minute,
guts
you
as
you
it
can
is.
be as negative as you want.
I'm
That's
not
school
trying to
board,
be
yes.
negative.
But
That's
you
the-
are.
Well,
Well,
Especially
just
you,
wait for
Kevin.
it's frustrating.
Well, I've been there.
I'm gonna make a motion that we go to non-public and according
Aye.
with,
I don't wanna miss like last
letter 91A:311 A, B, C, D, E, and I.
Aye.
So no letter? Is this the consensus?
No
Which
letter.
No
A.
letter at this point.
Okay.
No letter for the school board?
Nope,
Well, all right, here, I'll make a motion for the letter to the school board before we go to non-public.
no.
What is the request? To allow the
That allow me
selectmen?
to be a discussion partner of the board. Whatever, however you wanna word that. I just wanna be able to talk to them in the course of their meeting. Else there's
it's
no
my job
reason
to
for me
say,
to go.
what's the flavor of the board?
Okay,
What's the flavor of the board?
Negative.
why?
I've been at the meeting with you and Phyllis,
Mhm.
and you were both very disruptive.
What's your
Depends on what
thought?
you're
Do you
talking
feel we should have a letter or no?
I think we should have a letter.
So do you want a second in the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Who made the motion?
I do.
Oh,
All in favor to send a letter to ask them to play nice with Bill?
Oh, there's only, should we wait till Andy's here?
Can I
'Cause
vote?
it's-
of course you can
Yes,
vote.
you can. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
So it's 3-1.
1-1.
All right.
Everybody, everyone in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Everyone opposed?
Aye.
3-1.
Thank you.
We'll let you work with Bill to send the letter.
You make the motion to go into.
Now we're making a motion to go to non-public in
Aye.
accordance with, and we're doing roll call vote. It's 91A:311 A, B, C, D, E, and I. And this is for
Legal.
legal.
Alright.
And I'm turning this off and stream. You sure you
Do
wanna
these stay
end
on
stream?
or off?
This.
No, shut him off.